All right, hello everybody. Welcome to the Happy Hour podcast, opened by Joel Fleischman, myself. I'm a host with the marvelous Tim Peck and Cassie Gevaart. I'm like, I'm going to say that wrong? I knew your last name. I can always read it off the email, but I'm like, I would have butchered it.
All good.
Marcus, we should really practice people's last name before the episode starts. It's such a clunky beginning. Cheers, everybody. Welcome to Come On.
Cheers.
Full disclosure, we usually do these on Thursdays. I had filled up my back this week and told Marcus, hey, we didn't do a podcast. We didn't line one up. He's like, cool, we'll line one up. And half an hour later, I'm like, oh, it's Friday. That's why we don't have a podcast today. So we made it happen anyway. We're calling this a Randall Podcast 90. Famous 90s. Now it's getting easier again. BJ Raji.
Vonnie Holiday.
I got no 90s. Number 92 is still in my heart for sure, but that's definitely not a 90.
I think Drew Gooden was the only NBA number 90.
Reggie White.
I did a little quick Google. Drew Gooden was 90 in the NBA. Only one, I believe.
Oh, nice. Own it. Yeah, other class. I was a sophomore in 1990, so that's a fun old man fact.
I was 7.
I was 3.
I hate you both very, very much. So we're not going to be talking today about 90s hip-hop music, are we? Not in the early 90s. Maybe late 90s. You guys would have picked up on that. Yeah. Okay, so anyways, welcome aboard this wild train. Who knows where it goes on a Friday? There you go. The Dikembe Mutombo and Rodman, of course.
No, he's 91.
91, yes. I have a Lakers Dennis Rodman jersey, one of my prized possessions.
This is just 90s NBA jerseys ranking the best.
Oh, yeah. Lakers Celtics, iconic.
Yeah.
Oh, shout out with the pinstripes was very, very clever. I hated the teal at the time. Now looking back, it was pretty cool. Grizzlies so wrong at the time. It was so cheesy. That was the worst thing they ever came out with. Looked like Disney.
You think so? Really?
The Raptors?
At the time?
Raptors jersey? Horrible.
Remember, at the time, I was like 20. I thought they were just super cheesy. I'm a Lakers guy. I'm a Lakers, Celtics, Bucks. Like, just, I don't need some freaking dinosaur coming at me.
It's pretty cheesy.
Thank you. All right, what do you guys do here? You both work at Drexel. Give me some backstory. Ladies first.
So I'm a field specialist. I've been with Drexel since 2018, so going on almost 5 years now. 2019, I should say.
You've had a lot of challenging different positions. It's your first podcast, though?
No, second.
That's what I thought, because you would have been here with
the scheduling team.
Mm-hmm. Crazy. What job roles have you had here?
I started in Windows, and then I moved into the...
But not window specialist. You were window install?
Window install-ish, yeah. With service and scheduling leaders, so Jim Dittmer and George.
Hi, Jim. Hi, George.
Yeah, hey, shout out to them. Miss them a lot. And then I stepped into the field specialist role, which I really enjoy.
Yeah, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think you and I had a conversation where I maybe nudged you a bit to apply. Is that true?
Pretty true, yeah.
Yeah, so sometimes Joel comes down from the ivory tower and kind of nudges people along in their career. That happens. I encourage other team members to, if you see somebody that, sometimes you got to just push somebody just a little bit out of the nest and let them fly. So as much as you miss them in that position. Mm-hmm. And right now, though, you are actually scheduler extraordinaire.
Yeah, I'm scheduling now until Leah, the new scheduler, steps in next week.
Oh, wonderful. Yes. Yeah, I met her. She seems great.
Yeah, she seems
I didn't know she was scheduling offsite. That's super.
Yes, she will. Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Leah.
Yes.
Cool.
L-E-A-H, we found out. You're wondering how to spell her name, and it's the normal way. There's another way to spell Leah, though, right? Can't you do like a G and H, like a G in there? Can't you do it?
I think that's just Lee, but...
Oh. Sorry to anybody that has a weird name or a unique spelling of the name, but damn those parents. I don't... Mm-hmm. For the rest of your life, you're Kelly with 2 E's and 4 I's.
Yeah.
Like, why? Why overthink it, parents?
Crazy.
I think unique names are fine. Saquon, Bijan, but Kelly's just Kelly.
Yeah, that's how you spell it. Yeah.
Tim Peck is Tim. So Tim Peck, 7 digits. So when I was I used to collect baseballs. I've always had a strange personality. I was always, and this is pre-Google. Some things were more fun pre-Google because you just had to study it, and you didn't know if you were actually right, but you had a theory of things. You could test it. Mm-hmm. So I always thought the shortest baseball player's name was Mel Ott. 5 letters.
5 letters?
Yeah. No, Ed Ott. I think it was Ed Ott. Google that. Is it Ed Ott? See, now we're doing the Google thing. Was it Ed Ott or is it Mel Ott?
Well, yeah, Mel Ott would be 6, right? Unless it's just...
Yeah, Ed Ott. 5 letters. Yeah, there you go. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think you can beat 5. You're getting close, though, with 7.
Well, it is Timothy.
Right. But, again, he's probably Edward.
Right, sure.
got to be the shortest baseball name or any sports figure name.
Maybe we can get him on for episode 100. That'd be kind of cool.
He's still alive.
Still is? Oh.
Age 72. Shout out to Ed Ott if you're listening out there.
Oh, his real name is actually Nathan.
Oh, that just ruins everything. Jesus. What a buzzkill, my childhood dream. Was there a Mel Ott? Where am I getting Mel Ott from?
That's a name.
It's like a singer.
Or is that the cartoon guy? No,
Oh, there it is.
blank.
Baseball.
Yep. That's actually what I was thinking of, I think. Master Melvin. I love the Yankee type stuff where everybody had a nickname. So, Tim, what do you do here?
So I lead the buying and inventory team.
What's your title?
I think so. Buying leader, inventory leader.
Right.
Yeah.
Really, central distribution.
Central distribution.
So why do we have both on? Because it's Friday afternoon at 3, and it's a ghost town in here. Shout out to Paul Rice. They're the only 3 people in the upstairs downtown department. We're going to have Tim on because that's an expanding new department. Cassie was there. She's always fun to have on and talk to. I haven't seen her in a while, so I thought we'd have them both on. Fill me in. What's new in your departments? Let's just do like a snapshot update.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So new in our department, central distribution is new. Like we're really looking at having every SKU open across Drexel. So it's kind of
My
fragmented.
wife just asked me what you did,
Yeah.
and I actually nailed it. I literally said, instead of trying to having all inventory at all 9 locations,
Yeah.
I said, now we're just moving it around. It's still
Yep.
completely accessible to the builder,
Yep.
but now it's just one giant inventory,
giant
and he
pool.
just moves that around with trucks and making sure it's at the right spot at the right times. So we just have one pool of inventory.
All right.
Totally resonate with Pam. Shout out to her who does not listen.
Yeah.
But someday, when she's catching up on all these, she realized how often I mentioned her. But yeah, I just mentioned that to her today at lunch.
Yeah.
And I think she was the one that informed me that today was indeed Friday. And then accused me of having, she's like, that's really scary. I'm really starting to get scared about your,
know what
dementia
day it
problems.
is.
Yes, she's like, that could be a problem. I'm like, you're not wrong. But I threw my back out on Monday, and I'm such a guy of routine. I'm not doing my workouts. We had quarterback training. I've been off 3 or 4 afternoons just to manage it. So when I get off, yeah, I probably do turn into some sort of crippled old man.
Basketball?
What?
How'd you throw your back out?
Elevated squats.
Ouch.
And I was using 55-pound weights at try and did not do my 20-minute warm out. Shout out to Kelly, who I was helping to set up, and thought I was being a really nice friend. So she blamed herself. She never listens to the podcast either, so I actually blame her too, but I would never tell her that. I'm like, Kelly, no, never. That did not why. And did that, and I actually just strained the muscle. I don't think it's spinal, so it's coming around. But it was a pretty tough week.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Painful.
Yeah. Happened before. But remain in good spirits. Maybe till today. A little sour, but worse things happen. Get old.
Are you going to compete in the race tomorrow?
No, I'll be there. I'm actually a teaser. Tim Peck is in a dry try, they call it, at my wife's gym. And I can't compete because of my back, but I wasn't planning on it anyway. I have every single year. I think I won it the first year. Fun fact. 5 years ago.
And how many miles are you running?
Yeah.
So it's you bike 8 miles on like a stationary,
So it's like a spin class.
Oh, sure.
Or they don't actually have a class, but you just go as fast as you can.
Yeah, and then you come down and you do cycle stations, right? So you got to go through like 3 times.
Burpees,
Yeah,
push-ups, squats.
and then at the end you run 2 miles.
Oh, okay.
So
Yep.
I haven't run 2 miles. Paul and I were talking about this. Like he mentioned that he ran a couple marathons, which I could never
Paul
do.
did great.
But I did a half marathon like 10 years ago because
Oh,
my
wow.
wife was doing it, so I trained
Yeah.
with her and I did it. But I haven't really run at all since like probably 5 or 6 years.
Yeah,
So
I mean, the
it's
biggest thing is just they're just dead from what your workout,
Yep.
Obviously, 2 miles isn't a huge deal, but
No.
I will be there anyways as the coffee pastry volunteer station guy. Literally volunteered for it just to help them out and bringing all the supplies from Blue Door.
Are you going to be have tables set up on the run where you're handing out donuts to people as they're running?
Oh, yeah. No,
sure.
more at the end. I was going to get shooters, though, for at the end.
Yeah.
Like, a couple of Bailey with your coffee type things. So we'll see what I can come up with. See how much energy I have. I got to be set up by 7:30 in the morning. I got to be here at 7. So who's really doing shooters at 7:30 in the morning? Yeah, after the race, right? Yeah, maybe. All right, so you have that coming up. So big thing going on. Give me, again, snapshots what's going on in your department, in your universe. Show Marcus and I and everybody else listening and watching what goes on behind the curtain. Because scheduling offsite, what does that really mean? Mm-hmm. And then we just hinted at central distribution. And crazy, right? Central distribution, you have how many people underneath you now that work with you,
there's
that you lead?
8, 9.
I hate to say underneath you, that sounds horrible.
8, 9. There's like 12 people on that team.
Right, so we have a team of 12 people, inventory management,
Yep.
cycle counting.
Yep.
Our goal is to get away from,
You're in inventory. So
You're in
you're in
inventory.
inventory this. We're not shutting
is
down
a
the
real
yard.
thing.
That's a real thing. Yep.
oh my goodness,
That seems time consuming.
Yeah.
it was insane. It was insane. I've done it almost my whole life, and it was not only time consuming, it was fairly inefficient. It was the only time, and it was the only time you really cleaned your house.
Yeah. So
Right,
there's
so
that
doing it
part of
continually, in theory, is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, and but it takes someone's full attention to do that throughout the year to
Oh,
keep.
yeah.
The cool thing about that though is when you find that dirty stuff in the corners, like it's close enough to when the mistake actually happened. That you
Yeah.
can actually talk to a human and be like, "Hey, this was a mistake. Don't do that again."
Or
As
still
opposed
move
to
it.
like,
Or still move it, yeah.
Or still get it to the customer or whatever. As opposed to like in December, be like, "Hey, remember last May when you screwed this thing up?" And I'm like, I've written up
I don't know.
700 tickets. I have no idea what you're talking about.
So we're also doing central distribution in Drexel Millwork and Doors facility. That concrete got poured a little bit yesterday. I don't know if they did today with the rain, but that's a $50 million facility. So we're going to be centrally distributing out of that facility cabinetry, windows, doors, and trim. So that'll, with all of our box fans, will all come out of that facility and kiosk them. So that you have as all part of the vision of you guys doing this as well.
Yep.
So what is central distribution? We talked it on a loose level, but what do you do on a day-to-day basis?
So day-to-day basis, the first thing is looking at like,
You have one of those jobs that seems like you have nothing to do, but then also you have one of those jobs where you're like, boy, that seems really hard.
yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like, oh my God, Tim Peck must just sit there, central distribution. What the hell does he do? He's got 14 guys calling inventory, moving trucks around, big whoop-de-doo. So they don't even buy it, right? You just move it.
Just move it. Yeah.
Right, so I'm like, yeah, it's nothing. And then if you think about it, 3,000 stock SKUs,
Yeah.
that's crazy, right? And we think we have 300,000 special order items. So go ahead.
So it's kind of two main components, right, of the distribution. So Adam Beck buys all the lumber into our rail reloads. So Amherst, Wrightstown. So it's
Year to date, 261 carloads.
yeah, right. And then
It's a lot.
So multiple times 4. That's how many trucks it is. So some of it is consumed where it's
Right.
bought, but hundreds of truckloads.
1,000 trucks, and we're in October.
Yeah.
So we've probably been open probably 5 truckloads a day of lumber at least.
Yep. So that's part of it, like the stock fulfillment of those SKUs of getting the schedule efficient.
So it comes off the car.
Comes off the car, get
Yeah,
it to the yards.
guys in
that's the-
Amherst, Jake Pierce and his team, shout out to them.
Yep.
They take it off, and then you decide, hey, where is this shit going?
Yep.
And a lot of it goes to the truss plant,
A lot of it goes to the truss plant.
who does not have their own reload yet, so
we
that
gotta
actually
take
is
that across
unloaded
the
in
street.
South Wrightstown,
And then truck it back.
loaded up and put across into the north until they build their spur.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's that piece of it. So coordinating all those schedules, getting all that, and then sometimes we'll actually deliver. Good example, so Berlin, Stevens Point. There's a couple hotels going on up in that up at that area. So we'll actually deliver that right from Amherst now. So before
Wonderful.
we would take all that lumber from wherever, put it to Berlin, and then Berlin would deliver it. Well, now we can just deliver it direct.
Right.
So looking for those opportunities too.
And there's no other lumberyard in the state, I'm not sure in the Midwest, that do what we do.
I don't think so.
They don't
no.
pool their resources to actually distribute. BFS, which is called Builder First Source, the new name that I just heard from Steve Szymanski, shout out to him, is now BLS, which is Builder's Last Source. I didn't know that. And then Wisconsin Building Supply, which is owned by USLBM, really are two big billionaire sales per year, multi-billion sales per year players in the market. Do not, at least in Wisconsin, help each other out in any way, shape, or form. Maybe in some way, shape, or form, but not like we do. Interesting.
Yeah. So that's the one part of it, and then the other part, as Joel mentioned, our inventory is kind of it's all Drexel inventory now. In the past it was Keel had this set of SKUs or items that they would sell their builders.
And we would not bring it to the other yard, so it
No.
was a special order. So it's in Kiel, but we're not going to bring it to Wrightstown. It's not efficient, just or special order that.
Right.
And we actually just had quarterback training. Shout out to Brad Grebner. We're bringing in Billboard, which is an exterior sheathing product to compete directly with Zip at a lower cost point, made by Louisiana Pacific. They did a great job for that. And his first question was what location is going to be stocking that? And the whole team is getting it because they started laughing because they knew I was going to blow them up.
Yep.
I'm like, just Kiel. You can't have that, Brad. So, and everybody he caught himself. But that was a real thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe a year or two ago, and we didn't communicate it. It would just show up there, and there might be an email blast that, hey, we have this in Kiel now if you need it.
Yeah.
Let me know if you need training, inventory,
Yeah.
anything, pricing. Crazy. So yeah.
Keel and only keel, right?
Yeah.
So, but the thing with that now, like you said, so all those, it's open everywhere. So if it's in Berlin physically, we can still sell it in all the yards. So with these trucks running around, running the lumber from the reloads and stuff, coordinate. The other big piece of it is people write up tickets for stuff that is non-stocked in that yard. There's no physical stock. Creating those transfers so that material arrives in time to get to the builder. So those are like the two
much
big
more
pieces of
efficient.
distribution, right?
Do you have a dollar amount of inventory that we own at any given time?
Yeah, right now we're at like globally between special order and stock. I think we're at like 14 million the last time I checked.
Right. So at any given time, we have $14 million
Which is
of
low,
product.
Yeah, which is now we're kind of on the low end. We'll, depending on the time of the season where we are with like lumber cycle buys, we could be, up to 30, 40 million.
Wow.
That's the highest that I've
You've seen that,
remember
right?
seeing.
Which is
Yeah.
also inflationary.
Yep. Oh,
So
sure.
lumber being down half,
Right.
unit by unit, might not be that far off right now.
Right.
And you, Miss Cassie,
Yeah, so I'm in scheduling right now, and I took over until we have our new scheduler. But on a day-to-day basis, I'm working with our set crews, looking at labor contracts, making sure they make sense, sending out final layouts, coordinating trucks and cranes
for what?
for offsite.
Yeah.
Just
What's your
specifically offsite.
somebody? So you're. I can't imagine. Either both of you, right? You're out to eat. You have this friend group we talk about that maybe you're not your high school friends, or even if they're high school friends.
Yeah.
Cassie, what do you do again? What do you say?
Yeah, so, well, I mean,
Like, how do you dumb
field
it down?
specialist, so
Yeah, but what is that? Again, that you can't say that
Yeah,
on a
yeah,
Saturday
you
night with
can't.
after 4 shots. I'm a field specialist.
yeah, no one's gonna know what the hell that is for sure. Yeah. Well, I tell them I work with our installer crews for framing, rough framing,
Okay.
through inspection.
Yeah. What do they say about that? You being a woman?
Yeah, I think they think. Oh, I mean, I think it's pretty cool.
I think it's great.
I love it. I love my job. I love working with our.
But how do other women react to you being in a very male-specific industry?
I think they have a lot of questions like, hey, what's your day like? Like, you're a female. Do they actually like have any? Do they give you a shit on the job site? And sometimes, yeah. But I think I've gained their trust for sure and respect, and learned a lot in the last year.
Yeah, I mean, how often do you, daily, monthly, yearly, like I don't need examples or anything, how often do you sense sexism? Every day?
Not at all. These guys are so respectful.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever felt like that on the job site
Right.
at all.
Well, I shouldn't say being like they're hitting on you or
Yeah,
want
yeah.
taking it back or something crazy like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more like, hey, I need to dumb this down for you.
Yeah.
Does that happen quite a bit?
It did in the beginning for sure, until I
right.
got to know them a lot.
Right. So it was happening almost daily. You had to
Yeah.
prove your worth.
Definitely.
Although I've said most builders in our industry are such unbelievably great poker players, and they have to be. They've put this trust in you.
Mm-hmm.
They're reading anybody. It's just
Definitely.
new blood.
Yeah.
They're just seeing who you are and how you're going to react to certain situations. And maybe that's every industry, but it's very, very aware in our industry. You
Yeah,
really have to prove
absolutely.
it.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
I started here. I was the owner's kid at 23. I mean, my craziest stories was, this is pre-cell phone, pre-anything, whatever. I mean, literally just writing up tickets by hand. And probably where I a little bit learned to be outgoing in sales, but I think God always gave me that gift, but probably where I honed in my talent. We might have, like on a Saturday morning, I was maybe, how old's Micah, 12?
Yep.
Yeah, I was probably Michael's age. 12, so imagine your son, Micah, and you have some children. You don't have anybody that old. You don't have anybody that old, do you?
Caden's 10. He's
Kids
the
10,
oldest.
right. So
Yep.
between 10 and 12 I would say, and my dad and like two of the people that work there on a Saturday, might only been 3 of them, would be outside helping customers. So somebody would walk in, and Dad would be like, just watch the register, run the shop. Right, and they're just running around, it's just 3 of them, which was a cool environment looking back, and I'm sure local customers appreciated that. They were just busting their butt on a Saturday morning. And they'd walk in, and the guy'd be like in a hurry, right? Like they're building something, and a crew's waiting of guys building a garage somewhere or whatever, right? And hey, go to lumberyard, we need some studs before they close or whatever. The guy'd be like, hey, like, what's up? He's like, where's everybody? I'm like,
Mom here?
yeah, right there. They're like out in the yard, and they're like, so you're gonna help me? I'm like, yeah, I'm like 12, and I don't know to my dad. I'm like, there's a guy here. He's like, well, just. I don't know, talk to him. It's be like some guy. And like, so, what do you need? And then he'd start telling me like I knew. I'm like, I don't know what that is. And you kind of tap your fingers, and he'd be like, is your dad coming? I'm like, I already told him twice. Nice out, huh? What are you guys building? And then another customer would come in, right? There'd be like a line going, and you're like, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I just stood there and smile at him and shoot the shit. So Old German guys would come and talk German to me. Guten Tag. So, anyways, very interesting stuff. I don't know, sexism, ageism. So I guess I learned a little bit about that ageism stuff. So,
sure.
What's going on in the offsite world? What have we changed? What have we refined from when you started till now? Where are we at?
Well, I think in the beginning we did a lot of work with our crews, just making sure that they understood how our panels go together. And now we've got a really good base of installers that, can do one, go to the next. And we built that relationship with our punch lists and worked them all up to be pretty much all on the same level. So that was a lot of training and
well, it's really Drexel
one-on-one
standards,
coaching.
not this is however you want to build it's fine with us.
For sure,
'Cause
Drexel standards.
Drexel standards, process procedures. Let's speed this up. Let's all improve together. If you have an idea, let's take it everywhere.
Yes.
So that was a huge thing. I think the number one thing I will always take to my grave, I don't know if I'll ever use it again or if I can ever help anybody again, but we mass marketed offsite. Yeah. We literally went to the expo and built a house. I literally stood up there and said, in 3 to 5 years, 50% of all builds will be offsite. I don't know if you guys seem like you've heard this from me already, but really what we did horribly wrong, we're drinking a beer right now, is going up to a Busch Light crowd and being like, in 3 to 5 years, you're going to drink my high-end IPA, 50% of you are going to convert. It literally pissed off those people. They're like, fuck you. Sorry, excuse my French. Right? Like, no, I'm stick built. I really like it. Screw you, Fleischman. Also, why are you focused on that? You have problems internally with my Busch Light. Like, you have things that you should be working on that could actually help me, not this futuristic crap. Totally get that now. Totally. And then we kind of chased guys that were skeptical of it, right? So Busch Light drinking, you're like, no, try the IPA Oktoberfest. Like, no, pretty sure I don't like it. And we just forced it down, and it made us very stressful for the specialist, the builder, us, and everybody. Right? So that was really a huge, huge thing. And now I think what's right to do is the micro customer. Find the one guy in the bar that drinks IPA, befriend that person, give him a free sample of the Oktoberfest, and then look for the second customer. Offsite's not for everyone. Maybe someday, maybe the whole bar will start drinking Oktoberfest someday. Who cares? We have Busch Light, we have Oktoberfest. It doesn't matter. If you're into that, great. We have people that are into that too. We can connect you to that. If not, we are extremely, extremely, extremely proud. And I hope Busch Light doesn't come across as not equivalent. That's not what I'm saying. It's a very good beer. A ton of people drink it. I love all those dudes. All good either way. So that's probably what we did really wrong, looking back. What are the challenges you faced in launching central distribution? I mean, this is how new to the company?
Like 4 months since we went full blown Wild West, all SKUs open right up wherever you want. We'll get it there in time. Trucks running in yards on schedule.
Yeah, $14 million of inventory. We're just like, we'll just get it to you if you need it.
Yeah.
Right. So what obstacles? What did you learn from that? What was the chaos of that? Where are you at now? All that stuff.
So the chaos. I mean, the communication of it, I think, was getting everyone we tried it a couple ways, right? So the first way we tried it, and got some really good coaching from you on it, made it way too confusing, made it more work for people to get from Drexel as a
I kind of blew you up, right?
Yeah, and
I was like, dude, there's a 37-step process. No,
right, just write it.
Dumb it down. Right. Yeah, and we put a lot of pressure on the kind of the end user, if you will, the person writing the ticket up, when it really needed to be a team behind the scenes to make it easy for the end user.
Right. Yeah. You just write it up and we figure it out. So once we got that figured out, the challenge, I guess the biggest challenge that we face now as a team is as things are written up, trying to find the blend of when does it make sense just to have that item in all the stores, right? And when does it make sense to transfer that? I mean, there's some things that are, they're not used a whole lot somewhere, but they don't really cost anything. And
but they're handy.
They're just handy to have around.
Right. I mean, you guys all know. I think anyone that's listened to the 3 different podcasts knows I love restaurant analogies.
Yep.
You got to have ketchup at every table.
Right.
You can't be well, they only use sugar packets 1 every 30. If they need sugar, we'll ask.
Yeah.
Just put it at the table.
Right.
It's 0.001 cents.
Right. It's almost like some of these items are almost like artwork on the wall. It's you're a lumberyard and you just have to have those things.
Yeah, it's just the end pieces. It's the pickles. Right? It's the onions. It's the shot of 151 behind the bar that nobody orders, right? But you got to have 151. If I open a bar, I got to have 151. Is that a thing anymore? Probably not.
I hope not.
Everybody's looking at me like they don't even know what that is.
151?
Yeah.
Like a shot of 151 on fire?
Yeah.
On fire? Literally on fire?
Oh, is that an old school thing? We just, Marcus, nothing? Never? Or maybe it's a regional thing, or maybe I'm just an alcoholic. Yeah, 151 is grain alcohol.
I've heard of it, yeah.
Grain alcohol, you can light it on fire.
So
It's
Sarah's
so alcoholic. I had one guy once do it. He tried to do it with his mouth, and he like burned his whole mouth, like because
That
it just
sounds
kept going. Oh,
unsafe.
he's hammered. It was completely stupid.
we went to Sarah's uncle's house.
It's usually not that big a deal.
My wife Sarah,
It's
we went,
scary as hell, and it does taste like straight gasoline.
gasoline?
Yes,
Yeah.
go ahead.
we went to her uncle's house. It was just like a Tuesday night. We like went over for like a wine party, and
Shout out to
doing
Sarah.
one shit-
Hi, Sarah.
you
Shout out to
wanna
her.
Sarah?
she doesn't watch.
I also walk. Well, maybe she will this one. I also work out with Sarah.
So we're just like random Tuesday night drinking wine at this party, and like we're there for 2 hours, and all of a sudden like Sarah's hammered. I'm like, what the heck? So her uncle was putting 151 in all the wine, and nobody knew it. So everyone, it's all middle-aged
You just
women.
thought he was funny, or
Yeah,
did you
just like if you knew Greg Dreher, he's like
yeah, that's
just drink all the time.
Like it's on.
Pictures
Like
of
it's on.
Alabama
Like
Slam.
it's on.
We're drinking all the way.
like he,
So this
like
is just
he's
like a normal thing to do.
he was like an alcohol. He's an alcohol pusher.
Yeah, oh yeah, big time.
So from like what age 19 to like age, I don't know, 37. Like I was the alcohol pusher, right?
Yeah.
I'd have a crush. Oh, looking back, I'd have a crush. This is a really funny story. How dumb men are, right? I'd have a crush on a girl. So she's like, "Oh, can I make you a drink, Cassie?" And she'd be like, "Sure."
Get her hammered.
Yeah, and I would make the alcohol. No, it wouldn't get her hammered. It was the dumbest thing. I would fill the entire thing up with booze and put a splash of soda in there.
Oh,
Like,
gross.
yes, and she'd go, "Oh my God, it's so gross." And I would just alcohol push her.
Just make a good drink.
Yes, she's like, "Joel, maybe I reasonably like you. I talked to you. I actually probably just want a good drink. And I probably have 4 of them and end up getting hammered.
Yeah.
But you putting 7 shots in my alcohol and acting like you want me to get hammered right now is the hugest turn off."
Yeah.
Totally.
Totally. And also the dumbest way to get someone drunk.
Just imagine if it was your
Not
uncle.
that you need to get
Oh,
somebody
I don't
drunk,
know.
but it's just really a dumb thing.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he's just a partier. That's okay too.
That's funny.
That's funny.
That's what we're saying. Oh, ketchup, pickles. Yeah, but
I mean-
like those things don't. So for me, like
Maybe
not coming,
Cassie a drink with 7 shots in it.
not
Don't
coming,
do that.
not
Unless
coming
you're
from like the
driving me home.
background of knowing
Young bucks, learn from me.
the story of all those things. Like that doesn't, the usage doesn't jump off a spreadsheet at you to say yes, this is one of those
Right,
items,
yeah.
and or no, it's not. So just having that.
I think that's a great talking point in anything we do in the company. But sometimes gets lost is the common sense, psychological intuition, how God made you. No one can teach you it. A sixth sense. It does help with experience, but it really doesn't, because if you're not hyper aware of it, experience doesn't help that at all. You know, Marcus, we talk sports and coaching. You got to have a sense of like, I think that guy's tired. I think he's off tonight. I think she's off tonight. I think we should run this play. I think spreadsheets can be the biggest liars. You know, well, that's what it says, go. And sometimes they're not. Sometimes like that's what the numbers say. But you have to have this 80-20 rule where 20% of the inventory may not make sense, but is by far the best for our customers. You know, 151 was maybe a bad example, but maybe it's onion rings or something on the bar where you're like, I need to have that for that one person. Higher end tequila, which is actually popular now. Something the alcohol thing. Maybe it's a Friday. We just do Friday pod drinking. When did people start drinking tequila as like a mixed drink? That's like in the last 12 months, right? Or am I like behind the
No,
times?
I think you can do like tequila.
No, but like I've been out with like young hipsters now, right? Like Nick
Like a tequila
Felipe,
what?
Tequila
Nick
old-fashioned.
Felipe, PK. Shout out to those guys. Right? I'm down at BMC with these dudes, young dudes, like 30-year-old dudes, right? These hipsters-ish, right? 25. They drink like tequila mixed drinks now.
Yeah, tequila
Really?
old fashions.
Yeah, right.
I think
See,
Jack
Tim Peck, you don't know.
does that too.
You're old too.
I have a
How old are you? You can't.
40.
Okay, well I'm 36.
It's like, yeah, I've never had a tequila. Like on vacation, like if you get like a fruity, like
They'll do like they'll do like a tequila glass of tequila and
Like
like
just a straight glass. That's
yeah, like higher end, like you're drinking a bourbon. I'm like, when did this shit start? I had no idea.
it's not a sipping liqueur like you.
no shots. Just
Yeah,
shots.
it's just a
That's what
shot.
tequila-
And they're awful.
Some-
You like better tequila? See, I don't. Better tequila is better. It's like when you say tequila sucks. It's like, well, if you're doing rail whiskey,
yeah, that's yucky.
that sucks too.
Yeah.
So it's Scotch, right? Like like Scotch for me growing up was just pine trees.
Still
And then I had a good one, and I was like, oh my god, that is like butter. That's liquid butter.
If I'm gonna do a shot, it's tequila. I
too.
don't like.
You're
like,
doing tequila off the shot, off the rail,
Whatever.
like just Jose.
Yeah. Just I mean,
I'm
just a
the
little
same
bit of
way.
the rush of it. Like, oh, here we go. What I don't like is like the creamy, like
creamy
like
tequila.
like tippy cow. Like
Oh
tippy cow.
right.
I would rather
Rumshata.
do-
Rumshata.
Yeah, oh.
No, I'm a big rumshata guy. Like fire up some rumshatas.
What about like Puerto Rican hookers.
Yeah, great.
Shout out.
Well, of course,
Mine's
right.
my favorite
Sure.
shot for sure.
What's a Puerto Rican hooker?
Pickle
It's just
juice.
Pickle juice
Oh, yeah, because it takes off the little bite of the
at the end, yeah.
tequila.
You don't mix them. You do a shot of that and then a shot of pickle juice.
Yeah. Oh, man, favorite shots. Yeah, see, tequila just makes me gross out. I'm German for around this area. Blackberry brandy. Got to
that's
do a little
pretty good.
blackberry.
Yep.
Maybe some schnapps.
Can't do shit.
Right. I'll just do whiskey. Like I'll do Jack. I'll do turkey. You know, what are they called? What does that? What I'm saying?
Wild turkey?
Yeah, wild
Oh,
turkey.
my God.
Fire that shit up. Yeah, like kind of like you with tequila. Like if we're gonna do a shot, we're doing a fucking shot. We're doing a fucking shot. We're doing fucking wild turkey. Let's go.
That's where I'm at.
Right, like bring it. Right. If we're gonna do a shot, we do a man shot. Put some
Let's go.
hair in your
Yeah.
chest. Let's go. I get it. Also, shout out to my friend Kelly, who I had mentioned. This is crazy. So in college, her and I would do mindy racers, which was just rail whiskey until we couldn't remember the night.
Oh boy.
Oh, boy.
Shout out to Kelly.
How many of those did you have to do before you couldn't remember
It was
them?
always like at the end of the night, I'd see her across the bar. I'm like, Cal, let's do some mindy racers. She's like, sure. Yeah, horrible. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Where is that going from? So Marcus, what did we miss out on today? On a Friday afternoon late pie podcast.
We covered it all.
Yeah, but some questions for them. Like they don't. Where do you see these departments going? I mean, you are a great
yeah.
observer. You work loosely within and without those departments.
Yeah, I guess first off, Cassie, how has all of your roles intertwined helped you with what you're doing now to offset scheduling? Like obviously you're doing flooring scheduling and
Yeah.
things like that, but how does it all tie into what you're doing now?
Ooh, like looking back, I think just in the position I'm in now with the field specialist, I think I see more on the builder end of things than I did in the past with flooring and windows. Looking back, I think those schedules are really hard to control. So maybe just like the grace of a construction schedule, I think I've learned that over the last couple of years. Just how fluid that can be and
How good it can be.
How good it can be for sure.
And how bad it.
And yeah, how bad it could
But
be.
you see when a job goes good, how
I do.
beautiful it is. An
I do.
artwork. It is.
Yeah.
It is the really good builders scheduling things ahead of time,
Right.
and every really 48 subcontractors build the house. A builder does not build a house. Every
For sure.
great builder that I've worked with always says that I don't build a house, my subcontractors do.
Yeah.
That's true. No matter who you hire, no matter how hands-on they aren't the plumber, electrician, right? Flooring installer. They don't do it all.
Well,
And man, the scheduling and coordination of that when it flows beautifully,
for sure.
and all subs are in sync.
And just the benefits of offsite in that regard. I mean, you know when you can schedule your other trades after your rough framing is done, and I don't see that anywhere else.
Cassie's got like a podcast voice, doesn't she?
For sure. Well,
It's like, it's like that gravelly, wonderful podcast voice.
Well, and doing all the field special stuff, now you
Yeah.
understand like the in and outs, right? The
For
day-to-day,
sure.
everything that could go right could go wrong. When you're scheduling, obviously helps that much more, right? Being able to understand what they go through.
Yeah, schedule's just on paper though. You know, when you get out there and you actually see it, it really all has to flow so well.
And then we have this thing
Well,
called
that means-
weather.
And then the thing that's called weather, for sure.
And that's like no one. It's awful. We don't take that into account. I mean, it's impossible to take that into account. But
Yeah.
most industries don't have to worry about right. We have factories, roof truss plant, our offsite plant. Not so much DMD. Their factory is predicated on the weather. That is a dumbass business model. Like I should have got into canned soup. Right, and that's crazy. We're building custom manufactured items, which is also stupid to build anything custom in manufacturing. Tool and die, they're not predicated on the weather. We can be completely screwed up based on the weather in a manufacturing setting.
For sure.
That's an evil bastard to deal with. So you guys do a great job.
And Tim, you were at FedEx beforehand.
Yeah, I
Is
worked
there
at.
anything you were doing with FedEx that now ties into any of the transportation movement of what we're doing with kind of inventory, or not really?
I mean, a little bit when it comes to like route efficiency and just like the pace and planning of like turning over in, you know what I mean? Like the constant turning and getting things to where they need to be, but not really. I mean, it's kind of a different thing, and this scale and that scale. If that
More of
makes
a
any
onesie
sense.
item. It's you're not moving. You're just shipping inventory. You're not moving inventory.
Correct. Like it's just
And really, and moving inventory sounds wonderful, but it's actually you don't want to do that either because it's very costly to move inventory, right? So
Yeah.
it's just having the right inventory at the right time in the right places.
yeah, right.
Yeah, it's great. That's great. It's great that we can do that. Why is that great? We can do that, right? So, it was limiting the builders of our opportunities. It was limiting our buying power because we were just slightly distributing things through the stores. we weren't using our buying power to buy great volumes of things. So we just talked about that. LVP, a flooring product, we bought 20 rail cars of that last year. Bought that all by job lot, 1 pallet, 2 pallets at a time. Central distribution will get that to all of our locations very quickly. And that price goes down 20, 30. When a factory can count you for a container, and they can bring a container in, which is a rail car, or just a truckload that they put on a truck, that can be a container too, and they can just fill that up with one product, that's super profitable for the factory. So they reduce our price greatly. It's super not profitable to order it by the job lot. And then you have to have a 2-step distributor in there, and they're making 20 to 40% of that product. And then we have to rely on them that they have the product at the right time, and that's when shit gets fucked up. So what you're doing is great, but it's just starting to make an impact.
Yep.
Same with Cassie's job. We're just starting to find more IPA drinkers.
Yep.
But the ones that convert are loving the Oktoberfest. Speaking of that, we're wrapping this up. We're doing the billboards. We're wrapping it up. I'm going to buy a first drink. ROWE. Road just opened downtown Campbellsport. They opened up at 2 o'clock today. I want to stop down and say hi to Jody for a drink and still be home for supper tonight. So we got to roll. It's like $3.50 and Joel's a beer and a quarter in. I got one more to drink. I mean, I'll be buying girls with 7 shots of booze in them yet. Just watch out. No, I won't be. That was a joke in case anybody didn't catch the joke. But we will have one more before we go, so let's wrap it up. Big, giant billboard. You didn't even know you were coming on the podcast, Cassie. You were on one. So what's on your billboard and why?
Still no rain, no flowers, for sure. Got to take the bad days to get the good days sometimes. Got to go through the shit to get through,
Yeah, I mean, I read a ton of spiritual books about God and life and the afterlife. It's just how God made me. My sister's gone 23 years ago today. Shout out to Krista. So, right, but I do think, I really believe in God that way, and I believe you are on a somewhat predestined journey of going through absolute shit to get to some sort of finish line. And I think it all makes sense. I think it's like the second you die, it literally is like, oh, duh, yeah, I totally, yeah, I get all that now. Like, it doesn't take long. Your soul just goes, oh, the veil's removed. I get it. Okay, who cares? It's all good. Eternal life, hopefully for all of us. So, all good. God bless. I love that one. You got to go through hell to get better. Plus, it's hard to appreciate that stuff. Yeah. It's hard to appreciate the hell to get better. It just is. Even my sister dying 23 years ago, my life is absolutely better. Everything for me is more intentional, more sincere because she passed away. Now, I know that's not why God had her pass away to make my life better, but absolutely made a profound impact on me, which maybe made a profound impact on other people. So these dominoes that happen in your life, you don't know why. You just have to go with them and have faith, right?
Have faith, for sure.
Have faith. Great. I love that billboard.
My billboard would be one of two things. The first thing, when you were a kid, did you ever play the alphabet game? Where like you're driving in the car. Where you're like driving in the car and you gotta find a word on a billboard for every letter of the alphabet.
All
right, so you get screwed when you got to that. Like you get the Z, right? So we'd be driving.
You always give up at like U or like V. You're like, we're done. So you'd be like, highway Q and Meckwab was always your saving grace.
That's right. You get there, or if you saw Dairy Queen, and then when you got to Milwaukee and you saw the zoo, like, and then until then the game was over.
Yeah, right.
So
there's always like one person still playing it, and the whole family's already done. Each, like we've been done for like 27 miles.
So I might put a billboard up somewhere that had like Q, X, and Z on it or whatever, just for.
Oh!
Not that kids play the alphabet game anymore in their car.
That's really good, though. That's pretty clever.
I always said that when I was a kid, like, oh, if I ever had a lot of money, I'm just gonna put a billboard up and have a Q and a Z on there.
And then the next one should be 50 license plates of all the states. All of them.
Done. The punch book.
That's good.
So that, or like zoom out. That's just perspective is such a thing, right? Like, it's very easy to get caught up in your own bullshit.
Oh man, I just took a deep breath, dude. I just took a deep breath, right? Like zoom the hell out.
Zoom out, like
you did too.
Yeah.
It's like
see your house from an airplane, right? And like you look down and there's 30,000. I mean, you see all the houses in the town and the state.
Anything.
It's like, whatever bullshit you think you're going through is like just zoom out.
Zoom out. Zoom out on anything, and even within a project like you have with your huge spreadsheets, just zoom out and take a deep breath, right? Like we do. Amazing. People have asked me all the time, what would be my big giant billboard? I still don't have one. This isn't like a mic drop moment, but I will say I just I coached that little Holy Trinity team my last year, 10th year. Coming out with fun warm-ups. It's always my marketing thing. We got to have the bling bling warm-ups. We might come out with sunglasses for Coach Prime. Probably not, but I would love to do that. It's a circus. It's going to be an absolute circus coaching these little munchkins this year in a very fun way. So I came out with warm-ups, and I always like the Nike warm-up. Right? I think everybody likes the Nike stuff, right? 3 words, the period, the font. Like, you kind of get that. So I mimic that, and it just says faith, attitude, effort. And then it's just got a basketball with the kind of the wildcat paw on the back. That's it. Faith, attitude, effort. That's all I'm going to ask of the kids this year, right? Yeah. Have faith. Again, yes, in God. I can't make you have faith in God, but if you don't have faith in God, at least have faith in your teammates, faith in me, faith in yourself. But bigger picture, when we do Holy Trinity, we always pray. Faith in God. Attitude. You can absolutely control your attitude. You can absolutely control your effort. That's the only 3 things I care about all year long. So, God bless everybody. Episode 90, BJ Raji, title bet year, interception against the Bears. Never forget it. Out.